Hello. Um, I what I do for a living. Um, I'm a certified Florida court interpreter. So that's one of the things I do. I help people on the side with cars once in a while. I've been a mechanic for 25 years, but I don't do it as I just do it on the side. But my main gig is interpreting. But it's dead. Um, I mean, it's a dead period. And on top of that, I can't do any since I have my operation. That is operation. That animal. They took out. I thought they just took out a little bit of my large intestine due to a diverticulitis attack. They took out half. I went and talked to the surgeon, and he said, "No, man, I'd have to take your entire ascendant colon and half of your traversed. It goes up here, it goes up here, and it goes here. So they took half of this from like here to here around there, and the entire thing to the ileocecal valve where it joins the small bowel, the small intestine. So that was a big 4-hour operation plus all the infections. So I can't do any lifting, any physical labor that requires any type of lifting. He said for until the end of May, but you have to be careful because you can't mess around. You got to give it more time. I've had friends who've had major operations and stuff. Like, no, man, it took me like 3 months. So there is a federal program to help with self-employed people. But I went on the website and I see if I qualify for anything. Florida unemployment, it's Florida reemployment assistance on bullshit, whatever. It's unemployment insurance. Um, you pay for it with your taxes, your payroll taxes. I pay my own taxes every year. And because if you're self-employed, you're both um, employer and employee. So you have to pay both part of your FICA taxes. It's 15.3. Or if you work for somebody, you pay, I think it's 7.65, and your employer paid 7.65. So I pay for my own health insurance and I pay for my own, all my expenses and stuff. So, but right now it's dead, absolutely dead. I'm sending out emails and stuff because I can do interpreting. At the beginning, um, when I first got out of the hospital, I couldn't. There's no way I could. I mean, I couldn't even sit in a chair too long because it hurt. Imagine they cut half of your large intestine out and they open with a stretcher and they like a bowl in there and they pull out your intestines and start cutting and doing all kind of stuff. It's traumatic to your body. So it takes a while um, to get better and for the pain to go away. Just a few days ago, I stopped having pain here, like a pain of something pulling on me right here. When I stood up, when I walked around. Um, so so I'm basically handicapped right now. I mean, I can walk around and stuff like that. So I went on the Florida unemployment website, and I filled out all the information, gave them everything. Today, now that was on May 1st. I went on May 1st. I think it's the 12th now, 12th, May the 12th. And when I called in, first of all, it's down. The entire thing, they're not, they have it's so complicated. The way Rick Scott and his thugs that didn't want people to collect their unemployment insurance like we paid into it. They made it complicated so that people would quit and not get their benefits that they paid for. It's not freebie. You paid for that insurance. It's an insurance. So, but they don't want you to get it. As usual, Republicans, they like to, you call it an entitlement, as if you're an entitled princess for wanting to collect what you paid into. Isn't that something? Always, always, always the same. Right wingers, they accuse everybody of being a moocher, but they're the ones who like to steal from people and give the money that we pay into to the corporations and the rich and everything. When it's time to use the insurance that we paid into, now they're trying to the same thing they're trying to do with Social Security. They say, well, we'll send you a little bit more money, but and they're trying to write into the law that you're gonna, if you take that money, they're gonna they're gonna steal your Social Security. They're gonna take your part of your Social Security in exchange for a few dollars for a few months, and they're trying to destroy protections for pre-existing conditions. And I mean, they're just trying to commit genocide. The same thing they're trying to do with Florida unemployment. So when I called the guys, like, your information's not even in the system. It's like, what do you mean? I said, when did you enter? So I went and looked at my email, May the 1st. It's like, well, it takes 3 or 4 weeks. 3 or 4 weeks for your information to be just entered into the system. It's like I entered it straight into the system, into the computer. And they're taking 3 to 4 weeks, probably more. So, well, I'll just call next week. Very nonchalantly, like, people can just wait months and months for their benefits, and I guess they eat dirt or they recycle their own shit and give it to their children with ketchup or something like that. I mean, it's horrendous. These people are just evil people, So I don't know what's going to happen, Um, you know. So this, as of last week, 9.2 million people had lost health insurance because they lost their job, and their source of health insurance was their job. They worked, and part of their salary goes to pay for the health insurance. So 9.2 million. That was the number of United States people in the United States who had lost health insurance as of last week. And they're trying to now, the Republicans are trying to, um, destroy Obamacare and the protections that it affords those of us, millions upon millions of us who have pre-existing conditions. So basically, they're just trying to kill us all, by, number one, not starving us, by not giving us our unemployment benefits that we paid into, taking our Social Security off, taking our medical care off so we die, and by not providing testing and follow up and protections for the coronavirus. So it's horrendous what they're doing. These people are truly. I say that these people are using the coronavirus as their final solution, just like Hitler and Nazis did with the sick people, and handicapped and infirm, people who were mentally retarded and handicapped and all that stuff. They just stuck a needle in them and killed them in their institutions, where they had people that were sick and mentally retarded. So they're using the coronavirus as their final solution. It's horrendous. I mean, and it's how many now? 80,000. I don't understand. So I think this Florida unemployment and other unemployment, but Florida's the worst right now, plot from the Republicans, designed by Rick Scott, a thief and a grifter, and who stole 1.3. That's what they can prove. $1.3 billion for Medicare, when with his company before he was elected. So I guess the Republicans, if you want to be a prominent Republican politician, you have to have committed some theft or atrocious act against your fellow citizens, like Donald Trump and the rest of the grifters and thieves and pathological liars. So to be their hero, and be eligible for office and to get Republican votes, you have to be a piece of shit. these days. You know, as in, back in the day, if you looked at the Eisenhower platform, it looked like Bernie Sanders' platform. So back in those days, yeah, it was another Republican Party. Now it's completely fascist and uh, ultra right wing mass murdering. So that's what they're doing with Florida right now. They're just starving us and hoping that openly calling this the right wing in this country in Florida and everywhere, openly calling for people to go give up their lives, go back to work, get infected at work, and die so that the economy could be okay. Nothing that's an oxymoron because the more people die and the more people get infected, eventually they're going to have to lock down the entire area to stop it. And eventually, if they don't stop the spread of the disease, they're going to turn the United States into an entire nation that's quarantined where other countries will not accept travel from the United States. They're going to close their airports, their borders to U.S. citizens or anybody traveling from the United States, and we're going to turn into a 320 million people quarantine zone. Think about that for 1 second. So, if these people are smart, they will approve steady income for maybe 4 or 6 months so that people can stay home and we can stop the progress. But with this all Stalin techniques of the Republican Party, like they're doing in Florida, by starving people, by not, they created a system to basically shut down if there were too many people applying, and to make it difficult, even if there weren't too many people applying, make it difficult for people to get their unemployment insurance. What they're doing is they're just forcing people to go out and take risk, unnecessary risk, by going out, being desperate, not having any source of income or food, and having to go out there and risk their lives just to put food on the table. It's a disaster. It's a true disaster. So stay safe out there and keep fighting for the right thing, and to protect our species. Yo.